Thank you to Cade Silvermoon for their generous donation on Patreon. If you'd like to join them in their generosity, the link to my Patreon page is in the description. Whoa, totally good sound effects, or visual effects, but where am I? Hi, I got new glasses, and I haven't been here. This is just a green square of foam that should be going up on the wall soon. I got new glasses recently. Also, I was out of town for like a week, and then I came back and had one of the worst days I've had in a long time. But that's not what I'm here to talk about, so let's just go right into it, I guess. Welcome back, I guess. But yeah, literally welcome back to Temptation's Ballad. Haven't played this game in a minute, but I got an update right before I left, and so I didn't have time to record it before I left, and then when I got back, I was preoccupied with hating life, and now I'm back again, so let's do this shit. Oh yeah, my name is Deckerlink the Trained Unprofessional, and welcome back to Temptation's Ballad. I gotta say that because I have to prompt a little thing to pop up. God, it's so weird. These my old glasses were like years out of date, so now that I'm seeing this, I can see all the graininess and in the fucking background picture. Here's hoping my reading abilities will be improved. Don't count on it though. Alright, so we're going inside. The building's interior was cold and unkept. Its dark stone walls dimly lit by flickering candlelight. As Clyde led the three of them down a narrow corridor, muffled sounds of fighting men and a roaring crowd echoed through the walls. Clyde watched the newcomers' nervous faces with a grin. Well, folks, welcome to my fighting ring. Oh, boy. Talk about underground. The door opened to reveal a large, rowdy room with an open area roped off for fighters. The place was filled to the brim with a crowd surrounding the ring, whooping and hollering at two large, heavily bruised men exchanging fierce blows. Scantily clad waiters served out trays of beer and mead while judges collected bets from the excited audience. The entire crowd screamed as one of the fighters brutally grabbed his opponent by the throat. In a show of sheer strength, the fighter lifted his opponent off the floor and tossed him into a brick wall with a sickening crunch. As the other man groaned and struggled to pick himself up off the ground, the fighter raised a victorious fist in the air, prompting the crowd to burst in uproarious applause. Sid watched the entire exchange and gulped nervously. Whoa, this is kind of hardcore. You think this is rough? You should see my papa in the ring. That's when things get really good. It doesn't appear these fighters adhere to proper sparring etiquette. Had I pulled a trick like that in the cathedral, Her Excellency would have surely locked me up in confinement for days. Lock you in confinement? What kind of weird church training did they put you through? Huh? Worry not, friends. It was just simple discipline. Surely many families do the same for their children? No. I think the worst my mom's done was force me to wash all the dishes in our tavern for a couple days. And then she felt bad and we ended up washing them together. Cole scoffed. Papa's never had to discipline me as a kid because I never get caught. You'll need to stop being so honest with your parents. Sir Cole, I simply cannot condone your deceptive methods. That sounds like the words of a sucker to me. Damn, combustible elements. Ooh, how will they coexist? By now, the cheering and hollering from the rambunctious crowd died down. People were carrying the fallen contender out of the ring while they were preparing for the next match. The victor of the last fight was downing a tankard of beer when he suddenly caught sight of Cole and his companions near the entrance. His eyes narrowed dangerously. The large man quietly approached them, the crowd parting at his wake nervously. Oh, brother, look at you. Call it Bonebreaker. Why are you here? His voice was low and quiet, but it reverberated off the stone walls of the fighting ring in a dangerous rumble. This is not a schoolyard. The fighting ring is a place for the strong to test their tenacity against worthy opponents. You may be chummy with Clyde, but you cannot simply waltz in here for a visit whenever you please. Cowards are not welcome here. Despite the sheer size difference between Cole and the huge man standing over him, Cole stood tall and unfazed. Good to see you too, Val. I see you haven't changed much since our last visit. A deep growl rumbled from the large crocodile's throat as he glared down at Cole. Hey, cool it, Val. I let Cole in because he's actually participating in the fights this time around. I know you got beef with the little guy, but keep the drama out of the ring, alright? Val raised a surprised eyebrow. You? Fighting in the ring? Well, not exactly. I brought my 2 new lackeys here for a bit of battle practice. They'll be fighting for me. Cole turned to Artemy and Sid. Guys, meet the fighting ring's top contender and Clyde's business partner. This is Val. Hi. Greetings, Sir Val. We are honored by the opportunity to spar with such a strong opponent. Val's eyes narrowed at Cole with bitter disgust. As expected. Constantly manipulating others to fight your battles, always hiding behind your father's success. You are a weak and feeble coward, Collody Bonebreaker. Everything you own, your connections, your success, all given to you on a silver platter by your father. You are nothing but a leech. Your new companions will do well to be wary of you. Ooh, dots. A tense silence hung in the air. Artemy and Sid exchanged nervous glances awkwardly. Sir Cole, are you all... Cole suddenly broke the silence with a hearty laugh. Yep, your local immoral leech Collody Bonebreaker at your service. Cole bowed and grinned. And what are you gonna do about it? Val glared at Cole for several long moments before turning to leave. Disgusting. You are a waste of my time. Cole's smile faded into an unsettling frown as he watched the large crocodile disappear into the crowd. Clyde leaned over and gave Cole's hair a gentle ruffle. Sorry, folks. Val can be a little confrontational at times. Don't let him get to you. I'm used to it by now. Clyde turned towards Artemy and Sid apologetically. That was my business partner, Val. He's the best fighter around, and he helps me out with some of my market business as well. Clients are surprisingly more cooperative when you got a 7-foot-tall croc on your side. I swear he's a pretty nice guy under all that gruffness, though. Cole cleared his throat. Now that we got introductions out of the way, do you mind if I take my lackeys to a changing room or something? Sure thing, little coleslaw. The rooms are down the hall to your left. You know where they are. Cole nodded and marched through the crowd, gesturing for his 2 lackeys to follow. The fighting ring's changing rooms turned out to be unused storage rooms that had just enough space for a handful of people. Artemy and Sid struggled to squeeze between the barrels of supplies as Cole plopped down comfortably on a nearby crate. All right, folks, now that we're here, let's hatch a plan before stepping into anything messy. Our goal is to search for this missing crown, but it looks like we'll have to participate in the fighting ring if we want to stay here. Cole turned to Sid with a grin. Well, buddy, you said you wanted an exciting day, and now you're getting it. It'll be your job to fight in the ring for us.
What? Me? I mean, I'll definitely give it a shot. I must object! The crown is missing due to my own mistakes. It is only right that I fight instead.
Listen, Knighty, the fights here are hand-to-hand combat with no weapons or armor allowed. You got any experience with that in your knighthood training? No? Alright, I'll hinge my bets on the big buff guy instead. You're a holy knight, right? Sid's probably gonna take a beating or two. You can patch him up with some healing magic or something in between the fights.
I see. Then that is a duty I wholly accept. You don't think everyone here is as hardcore as that Val guy, do you?
Most of them are pretty wimpy, to be honest. Papa can usually beats them to a pulp with one hand. And you don't have to worry about fighting Val. He only goes after the toughest guys.
Hey, I can be pretty tough.
Sure you can. Anyway, while you guys are making a scene in the fighting ring, I'm gonna sneak around the building and find that missing crown. I'm pretty familiar with the place, so it shouldn't be too difficult.
But what if you're caught by someone who works here, like Sir Clyde?
Cole shrugged. We're good buddies, so I don't expect to get roughed up or anything. This might even work to our advantage. Oh, snapping. Cole snapped his fingers, a burst of violet light erupting from his fingertips like blossoming flowers. I have this spell called Charm Person. It's a really weak spell that can be easily resisted if the person sees it coming. But if I cast it while his guard is down, I can charm Clyde into showing me where the crown is. Or better yet, just force him to give it to me. People usually forget what happened after the charm wears off, so I should be safe. Theoretically, at least. If that doesn't work, I'll just run around the corner and cast Disguise Self on myself to look like one of his workers. That should make escaping easier.
Wow, boss, you sure know a lot of illusion-y spells. This is so cool. I've never worked with a talented magic user like you before. We're gonna make a great team.
Huh? Cole blushed and tried to hide a bashful smile. Thanks. I usually don't get to talk about all this because my spells are used for tricking people. This is kind of nice. Cole turned towards Artemy, his expression suddenly serious. By the way, don't tell anyone I'm a magic user, okay? My papa's a real old-fashioned magic hater, so Artemy nodded solemnly.
Worry not, Sir Cole. You have my silence. But would it not be better to come clean to your father? Surely an honest relationship will allow you to perform your future mercenary duties more easily. Yeah, he even said earlier that he wouldn't even be that mad. A little disappointment early on is better than a lifetime of bottling up a lie, right?
Cole sighed and his shoulders slumped heavily. You don't understand. I don't want to disappoint Papa. That's not entirely why I keep my mouth shut. He leaned backwards and stared at the ceiling warily. Val was right earlier, you know.
Sir Cole, do not let that rude man's words get to you.
It's true, though. The mercenary company that I'll inherit is my father's, just like everything else I own in my life. But this... Cole snapped his fingers, a few sparks of magic flashing between them. This is mine. I may be a little weak and spineless, but I want to hold on to this. Just a little longer. Oh, a sadness. We're at the ring. The crowd was just as loud and rambunctious when Cole accompanied the two of them toward the ring. Sid chewed on his thumb nervously as all eyes trained on him like predators to a fresh piece of meat. Sure, he was a pretty big and tough guy, but was he ready for something like this? Hey, Cole, is your guy ready for his first match? Sid jumped when he felt Cole place a comforting hand on his shoulder. He's got a little stage fright, but Sid's gonna be crushing everyone once things get heated. Just watch. Crowd murmured doubtfully at Cole's bold proclamation. Several of the other fighters looked downright offended. I'm looking forward to seeing that. You got a few moments to get ready before your first match starts. May the best fighter win. Sid glanced toward the ring. It looked like his opponent was a large bear whose chest was littered with bruises and scars. God, it's Brian. Fuck. He wasn't as big or thickly muscled as Val, but that didn't make him any less intimidating. The bear caught Sid staring and shot him a vicious grin.
Fresh meat, huh?
I don't know why I went with that voice. That's a little weird.
I look forward to breaking you in the ring. Breaking you into the ring, kid.
I don't know what that means, but okay. Sid shuddered and ducked behind his two companions.
Boss, are you sure I'm up for this? I mean, you did say I was a greenhorn, and not ready for big stuff earlier today, and...
You're not chickening out on us, are ya?
Well, chickening out is a strong term. I prefer being strategically cautious.
Cole suddenly leaned dangerously close to him. A thumb gently slid under his chin, coaxing Sid to look directly into Cole's eyes as he winked. Come on, man. You're a lackey of Quality Bone Breaker. You got what it takes to crush everyone here if you wanted to. Now get out there and show them what you're made of as someone fucking calls me in the middle of an episode. That's nice.
I don't know, boss. Maybe.
Oh, he charmed him. You sumbitch. Sid's brain fully shut down for a moment as Cole leaned in and planted a firm kiss on his cheek. He stood frozen, his mouth agape and his face slowly flushing a horrific shade of pink.
What was...
A spark of that was a funny noise to make. A spark of magic suddenly snapped him out of his stupor. Sid felt a warmth slowly spread from where Cole smooched him. It was like a hot bath enveloped his body in a comfortable hug. His senses sharpened and his muscles twitched with strength he didn't know he had. Sid gulped and readjusted his glasses in utter confusion.
What was that? Was that a spell?
Cole winked again. Bardic Inspiration. It gives people a little boost to their morale and abilities. Feels pretty good, huh? It's temporary, though, so use it well.
Huh? Was the kiss part of the spell?
Maybe. Does it matter?
It matters to me!
Cole waved his hand dismissively as he nudged Sid through the crowd. No more chickening out. Get in there and kick some ass! Sid was left spluttering, utterly dumbfounded as Cole pushed him into the fighting ring. Oh, man. I'm worried about him. People were starting to place bets on the victor of this fight as the crowd congregated near the gambling table. A large pile of gold was slowly growing on the side of the bear Sid was about to face, but not a single person placed a bet on Sid himself. Sid glanced at his empty, non-existent betting pile and his ears drooped in dejection. It made sense that no one would take their chances on an unknown newcomer, but... The crowd suddenly parted as Cole swaggered towards the gambling table and tossed a massive pile of gold coins onto Sid's side. Shocked murmurs of disbelief spread throughout the audience. All that gold on the newbie? He doesn't even look that tough.
Yeah, give it or you lose all your gold, kid.
I should be saying the same thing to you, Cole sneered. After this round is over, I think I'll be a whole lot richer. Sid watched the whole gambling exchange from his position in the fighting ring. He felt his heart jump at the sight of Cole spilling so much money into his betting pile. Adrenaline pumped through his being as he took a deep breath and stepped forward into the ring.
Boss is really taking a chance on me. I gotta do a good job. Just watch, I'll crush the competition.
There we go. I hope you're right. A judge blew a whistle, signaling that the fight was about to start. Artemy and Cole settled down in their seats along with the rest of the crowd.
Wow, Sir Cole. You must have much confidence in Sir Sid to wager such wealth on his performance. He's lucky to have such a supportive leader.
Cole, who was sipping a tankard of mead, nearly spat it out with a snort. Huh? Nah, that pile of gold is all a minor illusion. If Sid loses this match, get ready to run. I beg your pardon! Oh, God. Fighters, get ready! 3, 2, 1, begin! A shrill whistle echoed through the stone room. Oh, look at him. He's got his, oh, I'm gonna box with you. Sid immediately raised his fist and crouched into a fighting stance. Magic from Cole's bardic inspiration simmered through his veins and muscles like static electricity. All of Sid's senses felt oddly sharp and focused. His opponent, the scarred bear, dove at him with a ferocious snarl. But to him, it almost appeared as though he moved in slow motion. He moved. Sid dodged the bear's jabs and punches, and then retaliated with one of his own. The bear stumbled backwards with a fierce blow to the jaw. An opening! Oh, snap! He charged forward and slammed into the larger man's abdomen. With a massive heave, Sid grabbed the bear by his torso and lifted him into the air. His opponent flailed and held helplessly as Sid leaned backwards sharply and slammed the bear into the ground with a brutal thud. A German suplex. Well, it would have been a German if it was from behind. Otherwise, it's just a belly-to-belly suplex. Sid scrambled onto his feet, panting breathlessly as he stared at the groaning body of his opponent. The bear weakly tapped the stone's floors thrice. That's 3 times. A surrender? He tapped out from a suplex. What a bitch. The first round was over without Sid even taking a single hit. Damn. Sid stood over the prone bear, panting heavily as he came out of his adrenaline-induced daze. The crowd was stunned. Even Cole's jaws hung open in shock. In the back of the crowd, a lone Artemy clapped politely through the silence with a smile. Nice golf clap, yeah.
Wonderful job, Sir Sid. Your show of strength is truly impressive.
Fuck.
Sid flushed pink and scratched his head bashfully from the center of the ring. Thanks.
Did you see that, boss? I hope you did. I did you proud.
Oh, yeah, sure did. Just fucking slink across the screen. He's getting his money. Cole was busy running towards the gambler's table and mixing together the piles of gold to hide his fading illusions. Most of the crowd was too distracted, mumbling bitterly to themselves, to notice the gold pile was significantly smaller. Bleh, beginners get all the luck. Or maybe we were just good. Anyway, thanks for all the money, folks. Nice. It's cheating, but nice. Artemy grimaced as Cole carried back a large sack of gold to their table with a giddy grin. Even if this whole crown business doesn't work out, at least I'll have some loot to bring back to Papa tonight. No worries, Nighty. I'll be sure to split some with you and Sid, too.
Sir Cole, I cannot condone your dishonesty here. All this money was won through deception. Perhaps it would be better if we returned it.
What? Return it to those gamblers in this illegal fighting ring with a shitty black market in the back rooms? None of this money was honest to begin with. We're just taking it back and putting it to good use. Artemy's frown deepened as she stared into the large sack of coins.
I suppose. This still does not sit well with me.
She looked up with a determined glare.
As you say, this whole establishment is quite illegal. Perhaps I should alert the knights of the church to this place and forego this entire fighting ring business to begin with.
Cole's body stilled as he stared into Artemy's intense gaze. Maybe you could. Of course, a small army of knights approaching would alert everyone here right away. There are hidey holes and escape tunnels everywhere in this place. The moment trouble arises, everyone here will grab their money, goods, and treasures and flee in every direction. Your knights can't catch them all. And then you can kiss your missing crown goodbye. Took a step forward and placed the sack of gold into her hesitant hands. Or you can stick with us to quietly recover your crown with a chance of success. What will you choose? Artemy gripped the coin sack tightly and sat back down with a sigh.
When you put it that way, I suppose this is the correct course of action. Still...
Cole patted her head with a sympathetic smile. Listen, I get it. You're a good person. I'm kinda scummy, and this place has got bad vibes. But the world ain't exactly black and white with clean answers. When you've been out here as long as I have, you learn that you gotta bend a few rules to get the job done. Artemy fiddled with the edge of the coin sack. Her brow furrowed uncomfortably.
Perhaps. It is true that I do not have as much experience with the world outside the church district. I will look to your experience on these difficult matters, Sir Cole.
Their conversation was interrupted by Sid rushing excited through the crowd to their table with sweat still dripping from his temple.
Miss Knight! Boss! Did you see that fight I was just in? I can't believe I beat that big guy! What do you think? Am I a decent addition to your adventuring party?
Sid beamed between the two of them, his tail wagging furiously.
Well done, Sir Sid. I admit I am quite impressed. You're a very adept fighter for someone of your background.
For real, though. Not bad for your first fight, Sid. I knew I saw something great in you behind that buff chest of yours. A pink tint flushed across Sid's face as he scratched his head bashfully.
Aw, shucks. Thanks for taking a gamble on me, boss. I might not be the smartest guy here, but if you're looking for someone big to fight your battles, I'm your guy.
Keep up that enthusiasm. You got a long day ahead of you. Cole stood up from the table and tossed the sack of coins into surprised Artemy's scrambling hands. I thought she was already holding it, but okay. Looks like it's time for me to start sneaking around for that crown. Knighty, you handle all the bets from here on. Why would you ever assume that she knows how to properly gamble? Keep participating in matches and keep everyone distracted.
What? Wait, Sir Cole, you've chosen unwisely. I do not have any experience with money.
He left. Another whistle echoed through the large room to signal the start of another match. Artemy felt utterly dumbfounded as Sid dragged her to the bidding table along with the rest of the audience. Gamblers jeered at each other as they began tossing in their bets. Piles of gold coins were beginning to build up on both sides of the table this time around. Artemy gulped and fumbled through her sack of coins nervously.
Don't worry, Miss Knight. I'm sure I can take on whatever fighter they throw at me from here. Feel free to bet whatever you think is best. Perhaps 5 copper? Maybe that's too miserly. 5 silver then. Would that be too bold? All right, 4 silver it is.
A gruff gambler standing next to her snarled in disbelief, sending spit flying everywhere.
What kind of weak bets are you making here, lassie? This is a fucking fighting ring, not your grandma's bingo night. Go gold or go home!
Ah!
In her panic, Artemy grabbed a fistful of gold and hastily tossed it onto the table.
Oh no, my apologies, Sir Sid. Perhaps I'm not a good partner for this. I hope you're not discouraged. Don't sweat it. In fact, I'm super pumped ever since that first fight. I've always felt useless in all of my previous jobs and work, but here, I've never felt more alive. Screw that scribe apprenticeship. It's like I was born for the battlefield. Just watch and relax.
He's gonna get his ass creamed in there as soon as that fucking bardic inspiration wears off. Sid let out an overjoyed howl of excitement before dashing back into the ring. Artemy couldn't help but watch him go with a smile.
He certainly is an enthusiastic fellow. It is a nice change of pace. Everyone back in the church district acts very reserved.
The judge blows shrilly on his whistle again. As the crowd made their way back to their seats, a single cloaked individual peered curiously at Artemy. Their gaze trained on her quietly as she retreated. Uh-oh. We've got a cloaked figure. The vessel is here. This complicates matters. Ooh, what the fuck does that... The vessel? What the fuck?